In 1970, for the first time in history, World Cup left the monopoly of Europe and South America. Mexico hosted the competition in North America. The World Cup, which according to many is the best World Cup ever. This time, let's start with the qualification matches, where El Salvador's victory in the playoff game to get the quota started a 4-day war with Honduras in July 1969. The tensions between the two countries were very high, and the excitement caused by this match ignited the fire of war between the two countries. This rebellion is called the Football War. In Asia, the shadow of politics weighed heavily on football. This made Israel appear in the World Cup for the first and last time. Also, the representative of Africa, Morocco, threatened to boycott the tournament with the presence of Israel. But the organizing officials assured them that they will not face Israel during the tournament. In this way, the 1970 World Cup started with the presence of one team from Asia, one team from Africa, two teams from North America, 3 teams from South America, and 9 teams from Europe. The format of the tournament was the same as the previous World Cup, but there were important points in holding competitions. This was the first World Cup where teams were allowed to substitute players. It was also the first time in the World Cup that referees used yellow and red cards to penalize players. This system controlled the excitement of the game and the players to a great extent. Another important thing about this World Cup was the first use of Telstar, a ball consisting of 12 black pentagonal panels and 20 white hexagonal panels. This configuration made the ball be seen better on televisions of that time, which were mostly black and white. This issue has also been considered in the design of the poster of the games. In the first group, host Mexico was present along with the Soviet Union, El Salvador, and Belgium. The opening match between Mexico and the Soviet Union was so slow and boring that it disappointed everyone from an exciting World Cup. Perhaps the only important point of this game is the register of the first substitution in the history of the World Cup. In the 46th minute, Anatoly Puzic entered the field instead of Viktor Serebryanikov for the Soviet Union. In the end, the two teams finished their slow and weak game with a goalless draw. But don't be disappointed, the World Cup is not going to be like this game. The Soviet Union and Mexico went to the next stage, and Belgium and El Salvador were eliminated from the tournament. In the second group, Italy and Uruguay, both of whom won the World Cup twice, competed with Sweden and Israel. Only 6 goals were scored in 6 games of this group, so that Uruguay and Italy go to the next stage without risk and extra effort. Brazil and England were the champions of the last 2 World Cups, together with Romania and Czechoslovakia in the third group. The English media's attitude towards hosting Mexico was not very positive, and this negativity was exacerbated by the arrest of their captain Bobby Moore for stealing handcuffs in Colombia. The charges were later dropped, but England did not expect a friendly host from the American teams. Sensitivities peaked in the game against Brazil. Gordon Banks saved England from close range with an exceptional reaction to keep England in the game. Jairzinho scored Brazil's winning goal in the second half. The game ended 1-0. The two teams did not face any problems to win the other games. And in the end, they went to the next stage of the games with authority. The last group consisted of West Germany, Peru, Bulgaria, and Morocco. West Germany fell behind in their second game against Bulgaria, but Gerd Muller's hat-trick brought them back into the game. They finally managed to beat Bulgaria 5-2. The superiority of West Germany and Peru in this group was huge. They went to the next stage of the games with a big difference in points compared to Bulgaria and Morocco. One of the most entertaining games in the history of the World Cup was the match between Brazil and Peru in the quarterfinals. In this game, Brazil shot 27 and Peru shot 22 toward each other's goal. Finally, 4 of Brazil's shots and 2 of Peru's shots turned into goals. Another important game of this stage was the game between England and West Germany, repetition of the previous World Cup final. A good opportunity for the Germans to avenge their defeat. This happened with the brilliance of Germany's exceptional striker during the World Cup. Gerd Müller finished off England in extra time and sent them home. In this way, Uruguay, Brazil, West Germany, and Italy reached the semi-finals. 4 teams had 7 championships of 8 World Cups. It couldn't be more attractive than this. The first game, South American champion against Brazil. The game was tied until the 75th minute. But in the last 15 minutes, Brazil changed everything. The 2 goals of Jairzinho and Rivellino in the 76th and 89th minutes gave Brazil a 3-1 lead and brought it to their 4th World Cup final. But the second game was an exceptional game. The 2 teams tied 1-1 in the 90 minutes of regulation time. But extra time was stormy. The brilliance of Gerd Müller, who scored Germany's final 2 goals in extra time, was not enough for Italy. Three goals for Italy and 2 goals for Germany. In just 30 minutes, 5 goals were scored so that the spectators present at Estadio Azteca, Mexico City will witness the game of the century. Italy faced Brazil in the final. West Germany defeated Uruguay 1-0 and finished the cup in 3rd place. An attractive final between the only teams that have been able to defend their championship position in the World Cup. Sensitive competition for the 3rd title. Many believe that this Brazilian team is the best team in the history of the World Cup. Carlos Alberto, Rivellino, Jairzinho, and most importantly Pelé. But Italy was not too weak either and had stars like Gigi Riva and Roberto Boninsegna. 107,412 in attendance at Estadio Azteca, Mexico City. They waited only 18 minutes for the first goal. The Brazilian superstar opened the gate in the final. But in the 37th minute, Boninsegna made up for the goal. The game ended with a 1-1 draw in the first half. But in the second half, Brazil showed why many still think they were the best team in World Cup history. Their victory began with Gerson's 65th minute goal. Just 6 minutes later, Jairzinho extended the lead to 2 goals. And in the 89th minute, Carlos Alberto scored the final shot to Italy. Pelé became the only player in history who has won the World Cup 3 times. Brazilian coach Zagallo is the first person to win the World Cup both as a player and as a coach. Brazil became the first team to win the World Cup 3 times. West German striker Gerd Müller became the best scorer of the games with 10 goals. Also, in these competitions, an average of 2.97 goals per game was recorded. This number has never been higher than this since 1970. On the occasion of Brazil's third World Cup victory, the Jules Rimet Trophy was awarded to them forever. The trophy was stolen in 1983 and has never been found. FIFA unveiled a new trophy in the 1974 World Cup. Subscribe to the Final Matches channel. Soon we will talk about the 1974 World Cup in detail.